This is a demo on how to connect Tableau Desktop Professional to a Hive table that contains data using Apache Spark. 5 steps. First, we're going to launch an AWS EC2 demo, and as part of this tutorial we are not actually going to do that, but that's what we will be using. We'll be using the public AMI with the HTTP 2.5 demo kit, and then we're going to do some Yarn and Spark configurations in Ambari. We're going to run some Spark code in Apache Zeppelin. Then we're going to take a look at the Ambari Hive dashboard. Then we're going to connect Tableau Desktop Professional to the Hive. We'll download the ODBC driver and we'll set up the Tableau connector. And then we're going to use Tableau Desktop Professional to download a Hive table using Extract, and then we'll design a dashboard. Step 1. So the AWS EC2 public AMI, we're going to launch that on AWS here. So we're not actually going to go through this, but here's my dashboard. I'm in the Northern California region, EC2. I've already launched EC2 dashboard running instances. I've already launched an instance right here running the Hortonworks sandbox. If you go to YouTube, I've created a tutorial here. So Matt Philippi, and then go to my YouTube here, and then you'll see AWS EC2 Virtual Machine with Hortonworks Demo Kit, and this will provide step-by-step instructions on how to launch that demo kit, get access to through SSH, and get that set up and running. Just a quick high level here. If I was to say launch instance, I would go to Community AMIs and type in Demo Kit. It would bring me to this HTTP 2.5 Demo Kit cluster. I would select that and then launch from there. Again, all of the instructions right here in this video, AWS EC2 Virtual Machine with Hortonworks Demo. Step 2, we're going to do a Yarn and Spark configuration on Ambari on our instance here. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard here. I'm going to go back to EC2. Remember, I'm in Northern California. That's where my instance is running instances. And I'm going to log into Ambari right now. So I'm actually just going to duplicate this here. And down here for this instance, my public DNS, copy that up here, paste that, and then I'm going to add port 8080. It's going to bring me to the login screen from Ambari. So admin, and then password is on my instance here. It's actually the owner ID, which is right here. So I just copy that. So Ambari, it's admin and then the owner ID. And you can find the owner ID on your instance down here in the description. Owner ID right there. Copy, paste it in there, and then sign in. From here, we're going to go to the Yarn Queue Manager. We're going to add a queue for Spark. Type in root, rot.spark. Okay. So I'm going to set this capacity here at 50%. Okay, and it's not happy. I'm going to set this at 95. Back here to the default, and I'm just going to set this at 50. So 50 and 50, it all adds up, so it's happy. And I'm going to actions, save and refresh the queues. Dedicated queue for Spark, save changes. And then from here, we're going to go back to the main dashboard screen. We're going to go to Spark. That's opening up there. So remember, we went to Spark. We're going to go to Configs. Go find the Spark defaults. Come down here. Find the Spark Yarn queue. save Spark yarn queue save. Okay, proceed anyway. Configurations are being saved. Okay. And we're going to come up here and we're going to restart all affected services. And then while it's doing that, I'm going to pause. Okay, and then that's done. So click out of here. I'm going to try to click out of here. I don't know what's going on here. It's not happy. Strange. Step 3, run Spark code in Zeppelin. Real quick, I want to go back to the Ambari main screen here. Click on the upper left hand corner, get me back to the dashboard. I want to make sure there's not any yellow arrows next to Yarn or Spark indicating we need to restart the services. We did do those configuration and saved and said restart our services earlier, but if it didn't do that, you want to do that, and this is what those yellow arrows look like. So just if it's next to Yarn or Spark, click on that arrow and say yes to restart the services. So going back here, we're going to launch an Apache Zeppelin notebook. And the first thing I want to point out here is I'm using the AMI that was downloaded on March 10th, 2017 in the afternoon. And using that, I noticed that I think that there was a new version put out by Hortonworks. And here it is, demo kit 2 hours ago. So I think they put out a new version on March 10th, 2017, 12:56 Pacific time. And I wasn't able to open the Zeppelin notebook with that. So I'm not sure what was going on there. So what I did is I went back to the one that was demo kit admin on December 13th and I made that current. But I had to go, after making that current, I couldn't restart the services. So I actually had to go back out and I stopped the instance and then I started the instance. So it took me quite a while to get that to work, but if you downloaded your EC2 Hortonworks Demo Kit AMI on March 10th, 2017, there's a good chance that you may not be able to get to Zeppelin. So what I did was, again, is I went back to the one that was said December 13, 2016. I made that current, and then I had to go back out, stop the instance, and start the reboot the instance. I didn't do reboot. I did stop and then start. So to get to Zeppelin, back on our EC2 dashboard here, find the instance, go to the public DNS, copy that public DNS just like we did for Ambari. Okay, paste that up here, and then we want 9995. Okay, if you get the login screen, I'll log out here. Why don't I do that again? If you get the login screen, the password is just like Ambari. It's admin, or I'm sorry, the username is admin, and the password is description owner copy. So it's admin, and then I'm going to paste the owner ID in here, and that should get me into Zeppelin. So there I'm in. Now that I'm in Zeppelin, I have a note that I've been using here. I'm going to import that note. It's called 9. And we're going to take a quick look at that code here and then run that code. So what's important here is we're creating an RDD here and then a data frame. Okay, this one's called company metadata in French, and we create this data frame called meta2df, and then we create another one with actually all the data in it called stock2df, a data frame, and then we do a join on that data frame. So we joined stock and meta. So we have this data frame called combine, which we registered as a temp table to use Spark SQL. And then in terms of Hive, we're going to import here, import the org.apache.spark.sql.hive.hive context, obviously all case sensitive, val hive context equals new hive context parentheses sc, and then import hive context.implicits period underscore. And then finally, what we have here is the sentence to write out to Hive. So remember, we created this data frame called combined, and so we're going to take combined dot write dot save as table, and then we're going to name, I'm going to call this table my new Hive table. Okay. And before running that, we're actually going to go out to Ambari. We're on the Ambari main screen here. We're going to go to Hive View. Okay. Right. Hive View. Okay. And then I'm going to click on Default right here, and you can actually see. So this is the container, and then here's the tables that are in here. So I'm now going to run this code here. I'm going to do Shift Enter, and it's going to run, and I'll pause it while it runs. Probably take a minute. Okay, it took 22 seconds to run, so I'm going to go back to Ambari to my Hive dashboard. I'm going to re-click the Data Explorer, hit the refresh button on the Data Explorer, go down here, and there we can see my new Hive table is right here. Okay, I clicked on that, and then you can see all the columns in here. And so why don't we just do a quick select star from my new Hive table, execute, and I'll pause it while it runs. Okay, so it completed. That took about 10 seconds. So if I scroll down here, I can see the results of that Hive table. Okay, so one quick little trick here. We're going to go back to just the code here, and I'm going to comment this out right here. You can actually run this. So we're not going to write to Hive this time, but we're just going to put, we want to do the combined data frame dot show, and it will actually show us before we write to Hive if we, what it's going to look like, what the output is. Okay, so that just completed. I go down here and I can see the output right here. Okay, so here's the thing. This is before it got written to Hive using the dot show. And then the other one we could do is, without showing the data, we would do combined dot, I think it's print schema, like that. Okay, running. I'll pause. Okay, that just completed. So if I go down here and look at the output, here's the schema. It prints out the schema right here. So the column names, and then the data types, and then whether the column is nullable. So that's what gets moved over to Hive. But really, when it comes to actually writing to the Hive table, we don't want this, we don't want that, we want this statement right here with the Hive context established up here. Combine.write.save as table, and then the name of the table you're going to create. So we actually just covered two things there. We just covered running the Spark code in Zeppelin, and then the Ambari Hive dashboard. So it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Step 4, we're going to configure Tableau to connect to Hive. And the first thing that I wanted to point out here is, which is really important to know here, so Tableau Desktop Connector. This only works with Tableau Desktop Professional. So if you have just the regular Tableau Personal Edition, it's not going to work. So you need the Tableau Desktop Professional. That's the only one that has all the, has dozens of connectors in there. So that's what you'll need. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to download the ODBC driver. So I'm going to go to Hortonworks download. Okay, downloads. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom here, and we'll find the Hortonworks ODBC driver for Hive. So Hortonworks ODBC driver for Apache Hive. I'm on Windows 10, so I'm going to download Windows 64-bit. And then once that is done downloading, I will install that. So after clicking on installing that, I'm going to, at least on Windows 10 here, I'm going to go down to the Ask Anything, type in ODBC, so I can get ODBC data sources, get 64-bit. This is going to pop up, okay? And then I should have the Hortonworks Hive DSN. I'm going to configure that, and to configure that, what I want here is I'll have to go get my EC2 instance domain name. So I'm going to go back here at EC2 Manager, get my public DNS, same one that we used for Ambari and Zeppelin. Copy that. I changed the name to Sandbox, Hive Server 2, Node Service Discovery. Paste in the current DNS, port 10,000 even. Default username and password, Hive, no password, blank, HTTP, and for some weird reason on Windows 10 I cannot get down to the OK button down here, so I just hit enter, and then it should be configured. Right, so just a quick double check, go down on ODBC, data sources, 64-bit, system DNS, oops, I think I went to the wrong one, Hortonworks Hive DSN, okay, went out and got the host, Sandbox Hive Server 2, host 10,000, username and password, Hive, no password, HTTP, and OK. And then we're good. Now, I'm going to launch Tableau. Again, this is only Tableau Desktop Professional. It's going to launch. Bring that over here. Okay. Now, I'll get this connect. Hortonworks Hadoop Hive is what we want. Okay. Now it already has the DNS, but again, it's the same DNS. So I'm just going to paste that in this time. Hive Server 2 username, password, SSAS, Hive, and then I put in Hive here. Sign in. Okay. Now you can see I'm connected. So the default, what I want is, so we're going to go back here to Ambari, and what I want is the database called default, because remember that's where my new Hive table was. So what we want is default. I'll do starts with default. Okay, there it is. I clicked on that. And then let's see here, table name. I'll just do my, again I'll starts with, so remember in Ambari, so default, and then the table name is my new Hive table. So I'll do starts with, just to make sure I don't have any typos. Oh, it's my, it's exactly, so it's my, I'll just do that. There's my new Hive table, then there's the table. Okay, time to create a dashboard. So we just completed our configuration to Hive. So I'll start from outside, launch Tableau here. Again, Hortonworks Hadoop Hive. If it's not showing up in here, then you can go find it in here, more. Hortonworks Hadoop Hive. Okay, so it's my DNS, Hive Server 2, username and password, Hive, and then Hive. Default schema. Okay, we found that. It's going to load that in. Then I wanted my new table. table. And I found that. Okay, so now I have my table here, my new Hive table. I'm going to drag that up here. Okay, and then I'm going to switch from live to extract. The reason is if you use live and do drag and drop, it actually, I think it creates SQL queries in the fly, whereas if we just extract it, so extract, then update now, and then we go work, it's going to download the data locally and we can work locally. And then that way Hive isn't jumping back or Tableau isn't jumping back and forth between the Hive. So remember, extract, update, and then we're going to go to the sheet. It's going to tell me it's going to want to save Tableau data extract, so I'm going to click yes. Downloading the data, rows retrieved. Okay, now we're ready to go. So the most important thing to know here to start is the date, okay? So I'm going to go here, I'm going to change the date. Drop down, I'm going to change the data type to date, okay? Now Tableau can do all sorts of great things with that. So what's important to know about that is we're going to go all the way back to the Zeppelin code here, the Spark code. And I just ran combined show to show. I commented out the save as table and I did the combined show for this combined data frame. And you can see down here that the date is 2007-0-1-3, which is an ISO standard. So when you're coding an application or you're doing any sort of dates in the database world and the Tableau world, as long as it's coded in an ISO format, then it works really well. But if you don't code it in an ISO format, then it's not going to be happy. So I googled ISO 8601. Here's the formats. So I just changed the date there. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to drop the date in here. Okay, so I got a date now. Then I'm going to do a couple measures here. Buy, hold, portfolio value. And then rule portfolio value. So I'm going to drag that up to the row, and I'm going to drag this up to the row. Okay, so now it's got me two line charts here. I'm going to go over here to show me. You can click this if it's not showing. I'm going to click on this chart right here. Okay, so now it puts both lines together. So here we go, rule portfolio value, buy hold portfolio value. Okay, then I'm going to hover over this axis right here, right click, and I'm going to say synchronize the axis. Okay, and then the other thing is I know these values aren't correct. They should be about $30,000. So let's see what happens here. If I click on the plus, and then get down to the week date, get down to the day date, and then that gives me a line chart by date. So that looks more correct because we have 30 stocks in here. They all started with a portfolio value of $1,000 each, and so that's okay. And I'm going to actually click on the show me, get rid of that, and then up to filters here, I'm going to drag the company filter. Okay, and I'm going to click apply. Okay, and then that's okay. And then I can go, hey, show the filter, and then it's going to put the filter over here. I'm going to say select all. Okay, and then now we have a filter. So I'll just save this. My Tableau dashboard. Tableau dashboard. Okay, so now that I have all, I can say, hey, I don't want to see any of them. I just want to see Apple. How did Apple do? Okay, well, hey, how did Boeing do? Okay, and then of course, there's all sorts of things we can do here. Go back to all, show me them all in aggregate. So then you can highlight on the lines here, and it shows you the information. So I just saved this. So if I closed it, and then I decided to open it again, always come back to my data source here and say, hey, update it now, and then we'll go out to Hive and pick up all of the data that's currently in the table. There it goes. So same thing, back to my sheet here. And that's how you do a dashboard in Tableau Desktop Professional. So that concludes actually 6 steps here. And getting back to the beginning here, our goal was to process some data in Spark and then write that data to Hive, and then use Tableau to create a dashboard from data that was stored in the Hive tables. So really 6 steps, and if you have any questions, you can post a comment on YouTube and I'll happily answer. And my name is Matt Philippi, and thank you for watching.